Hello, and welcome to the Underhive.
And thank you for rejoining me here in real life for, well, it's a bit of a special. We might do some more of these if you're enjoying them. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that subscribed. We're at 30 now, which to me is a big number. Obviously, it's not if you compare to probably some other people you watch, but to me that is overwhelming because it's not like I've just told everybody I know and asked them to hit the button. I don't even ask you to do it. So just thank you to everybody that has. Bake Off is a big thing in our house. Me and my fiance both love that. So I was petitioned to make some brownies. So I'm going to do that for you today. We're going to be doing some curly wurly brownies. Other types of chocolate are available. You can fill them with whatever you want. So we're going to be doing some of that. Now I've measured this out already. I'm going to have the recipe and the measurements in the description. I'm going to pop them up as we have a look at them here now. So first and foremost, we've got some extra dark chocolate. This is 72% cocoa solids. Don't use any less than that for this. I mean, you could use milk chocolate, but I don't know how this recipe will hold up. You can obviously use other brands, but I use this one because this is what I've got in the cupboard now. So we're going to need 175 grams of this. This is a 150 gram bar, so it's going to be a bit more than a bar. We've got 300 grams of sugar. So this is light brown Muscovado. You can use whatever kind of sugar you want. I would say use that because that's what the recipe calls for, but I have done it with caster and it worked. So you don't have to worry about that. It's just that caster can sometimes be a bit grainy and you don't want that. We've got 40 grams of cocoa. I don't know if you can actually see this, but 40 grams of cocoa with 75 grams of plain flour. I did that by eye almost. It was probably a bit over on the cocoa, maybe a little bit under on the flour. Again, it works still. You don't have to worry too much about those measurements. And then I'm not going to tip these too far. We've got 3 eggs. So that's that. We're also going to need 175 grams of butter. That's a 250 gram block, so it's like 2/3. And again, you can go by eye with that. And we've got a pan of water there boiling away. So we're going to get a glass bowl out. Oh no, that's a little bit small. I thought that was larger than it was. Is this one any better? It's not. Well, we're going to have to use a different pan. Okay, my pans are too large for my bowls. Well, we're just going to have to deal with it. We don't really want it touching the water ideally, so I'm going to get rid of a little bit of this. You don't need loads and loads of water, you just want enough to make some steam. It's now not touching the water, so I'm gonna accept that as is. So first things first. Oh, also curly wurlies for the centre, those if you need them, and then some vanilla extract. This says Madagascar vanilla extract. It isn't the most expensive one or anything like that. Get extract though, don't get essence because that isn't the same. It's generally cheaper, but it's not the same. So, you don't have to be particularly gentle or rigorous with this. Just, break it up a bit. Oh, well, that's a bit gone. Never mind. We've got another bar. We've got that going in. And like I said, we needed another 25 grams, but we did lose a bit there. So, that's the bit we dropped, and then we'll go with another square of 4 and another 2. There we go. That should be fine. As I say, you can do this pretty much by eye. I'll leave that out. So that is that dealt with. So from there, we're going to want the butter in. And again, as I say, this is 250, so we want about 2/3 of it. And we're just going to set that there like that. That can be in the butter dish later on, and then just break it up a bit. It doesn't have to be neat or anything, just break it up a bit so it'll melt sooner. There we go. Bang that in. Already the chocolate's starting to melt a little bit. My camera's fixed there. Well, I say camera, it's my phone. So yeah, just in case you weren't aware, you can use your phone and get some pretty good video out of it. Depends what your standards are, I suppose. You might not think this is very good. So we just need to melt that down there. So just give that a little stir. Don't burn yourself in the process, that's never the desired effect. Most important thing here, don't get any of the water in the chocolate because that'll sort of split it a bit and you don't want that. So, you know, just make sure if you've got any steam, any condensation coming around the side, just give it a little wipe there and that'll help you avoid that. Now, with the darker sort of 72% or higher cocoa solids, you're going to get a darker, more sort of cocoa-y taste, less sugary. And that balances out with all the sugar we're going to be throwing in there. So you don't need to use milk. You can if you want, but again, I'd recommend maybe only using a bit of milk and then the rest dark. And you'll start to see it goes all silky and lovely. Again, with the camera being fixed, I can't really show that to you, but I'm going to be taking it off the heat in a moment or two anyway. So just like that, carry on. Not got too long to go there now. And then we're going to be bringing the bowl over here anyway, so we can show that that's just butter in it. There it is. Now I'm going to be using an electric whisk for this in a moment. You don't have to. I've done it by hand before as well. It just burns off a few of the calories that you're going to be ingesting with the brownies anyway. So you know, it just takes a little bit longer. It's not impossible to do by any means. So they're all dealt with. Okay, how are we getting on here? Getting there now. Doesn't take too much longer. Probably another minute to 2 minutes. And you'll see once your butter starts melting with it. I mean, it's quite silky chocolate anyway. The one I'm using. If you use a high quality chocolate, it will kind of go glassy anyway. But the butter really does do that. It's very, very shiny and very rich looking already. So just keep that moving. Probably should have taken the butter out of the fridge, if I'm honest. But I didn't think about that beforehand. So it's just taking a little bit longer for the butter to melt down, but it's getting there. In the meantime, what we're going to do, you're going to need a baking tray. There's not really any right or wrong, but I use one of these here square ones. They're not expensive. You can get them all over the place. It is 8-inch square, about 1.5 inches. This mixture might be a bit much for this. I haven't used this before. I normally use an old one, but it's about the same size as this. I'm going to get some greaseproof paper. That's probably a bit too much. Just keeping an eye. The butter's nearly done. Alright. There we go. Bit of greaseproof paper. Really push that into the tray, let it get a shape. There we go. Nearly there now. Very nearly there. Now I did almost do what I told you specifically not to, and that's to get water in it, because this has got a bit of condensation. If I wasn't trying to talk and stuff as well, maybe I wouldn't have made that mistake, but it hasn't actually caused any harm, it's just a near miss. So we're very, very nearly there with that. I think what I'm going to do is take that off the heat while I just butter me paper. So I'll get that out on the wooden tray. Make sure you don't burn yourself with this bit. Yeah, I'm going to need to double that over. Could have gone belly up right there, but it didn't, luckily. And that is the pan well width. We do not need the pan any further. I'm just going to keep stirring that till the butter is gone, and it's very hot. I do not want to drop this. What we'll do is we'll get the old oven glove. Make sure you turn your oven off when you're done with it. Try and show this to you. I don't know how well that's going to come across, but it's lovely and runny now with the butter and the chocolate dissolved together. So there we are. So quickly going to just nip a bit of butter off there. Hands are clean, but if you share your butter with others, don't just stick your fingers in it. That's a bit rude. And then just going to bring this out here for a moment. No artistry, just give the butter a rub. That's in. So that's in there now. Baking tray is ready for action. Just get the butter off my hands, or this whisk is going to end up all over the place. Okay. So, I'm going to use an electric whisk. As I say, you can use a normal hand whisk. It'll just take you a little bit longer, but that is fully ready to go. In fact, before we get the whisk out, just going to pop the spoon on a piece of kitchen roll, because I'm going to use the spoon to get it out of the bowl in a little bit. So, save washing it unnecessarily, because it's only the same stuff. So, first in, we go with the sugar. You want your sugar in while the chocolate and butter is still hot, so don't leave it too long. You're not going to hear me over the whisk now, so we're going to go straight in with the whisk, all of the sugar, and we want to whisk it until, ideally, the sugar is fully dissolved and it looks silky again, because at first it's going to be grainy. You might end up getting it a bit all over the place. Unless somebody's going to be mad at you for that, don't particularly worry about it if you lose a little bit. Now, whisking the sugar in while it's hot is beneficial to help the sugar dissolve into the chocolate and the butter, but you don't really, because the eggs are in next, you don't really want the eggs in when it's still really hot, particularly because this bowl isn't too warm now. I can put my hand on it, but you might end up with scrambled eggs in your brownies, and you don't want that. So if you are hand whisking it, I would say probably just keep going for it with it for 10 minutes or so, just to make sure it's definitely all mixed up, and also that'll let it cool down. I'm going to carry on a little bit more now, and then we're going to go in with the eggs. Also, not a terrible point in time to preheat your oven. So you're going to want the oven at 180. There we go, preheating to 180. Okay, that'll do for the whisking. So, as I mentioned, it might still look a little bit grainy, and that does a tiny bit, but not anything too bad. Like, I know the sugar's mixed now. Just going to scrape all that back in with the spoon here. Just from around the edge. Get that on the whisk there. So I'm getting it higher up the spoon than off of it, but that's fine. So yeah, as I say, might still look a little bit grainy, that's fine, don't worry about it. Mine does here right now. It doesn't look completely smooth at this moment in time, but once we get the eggs in, it should. So if your eggs have gone in and it's still grainy, you've done something wrong and probably want to start again. And do not forget the eggs. I've done this recipe whilst forgetting the eggs, and it comes out like a concrete, gritty mess. You don't want that. So make sure you've got your 3 eggs. Now, you can whisk them a bit to begin with. If you're using an electric whisk, you really don't need to. So eggs go in now. Once the eggs are in, you should see, I mean, you'll have air bubbles and stuff in there. It's not supposed to be completely smooth, don't worry about that. But it'll be a lot smoother because of the actual liquid from the egg. And then the last things that need to go in is a drop of your extract. Don't go too far with it, but a little slosh is fine. To be honest, if you haven't got that, it doesn't really make that much difference. It's the kind of thing that, you know, a recipe will call for, but if there's one ingredient you can do without, it's that. So that's that bit done, and then we're going to need the dry stuff in. So again, that can just all go in together, nice and easy. And I'm just going to sort of manually move that about a bit to begin with, otherwise we'll end up with flour all over the place. And then we're whisking again. Oh, we've got a casualty. The bread bin and the butter dish are now smeared in chocolate. Oh, it's coming together now. It's coming together. We'll calm that down just a moment, and we'll just get all of the edges as we'd like them. That's a good technique there for you. If you use the back of the spoon and just sort of stab into the edge and sort of drive that bit down, that'll help you get that last bit of flour from the edge of the bowl. I'm feeling like this is too big for that tin, but better too big than too small, eh? I'll give it one final glory lap. Okay, and we're in. So let's disengage those. Oh, probably always unplug it before you touch your whisks, or turn the switch off at least. You don't want to get your fingers tangled up in that. And then we'll just bring that over for you. You can see now, silky, lovely. Bet some of you would eat that as it is. I wouldn't dare though. Eggs, not a fan. But we need them for this, so they're going in the sink now. We do not need the whisk anymore. And now we're going in the baking tray. So I'm actually going to get a tray for my tray, because I'm clumsy, so we're going to put the tray on a tray. Okay, so the curly whirlies go in the middle, so we'll sort those out in a minute. We want to put half the mixture in there, about half, doesn't need to be exactly half, it's up to you how precise you want to be. So we'll bang that in there. That feels about half. There we go. Lovely. And then use the spoon to just dab it all the way into the corners there. There we go. So that's looking beautiful. There we go. And then your curly whirlies, I've moved my chopping board. But this one's already broken in half, luckily. Alright, it's mostly broken in half. So yeah, just separate them. Lie them in the centre of your brownie. Not the very centre, but just not right up to the edge, or you'll get a bit of caramel bleed out. That's not a problem for everybody, but it's not the look I'm going for. So I'm using 3. I've gone as high as 5. I just only got 3, so if you've got more, if you've got less, doesn't really matter. I was looking the other day because I had some stroop waffles in the other day, and I think they'd go really nice in the middle of it. You could pop some marshmallows in it. You could do a bit of a Rocky Road thing, bit of Rice Krispies with your marshmallows, anything you want. Bit of chocolate, bang it in there. Even, well, maybe fruit. I probably would leave fruit only because there's a lot of moisture in fruit. But if you had dried fruit, then you could probably do it with that, and that'd, you know, dried sour cherries or dried strawberries or raspberries, that'd probably go quite nicely. So from there, we just bang the rest of the mixture on. If you've got any Lotus spread, you could bang that in the middle, or just Lotus biscuits, to be fair. They're all the rage now. Sounds a bit ASMR there, doesn't it? Don't know if you'll have caught that, because it's just the phone mic I'm working with for now. No, it looks to have been exactly the right amount, so that's spot on. Okay. And again, just sort of dab it into all the corners there, like you might with your concrete. Like there's only going to be any tradesmen watching this, surely. If you are, let me know. And there we have it. Lovely smooth top to it. Oh, brilliant, my light's not been on the whole time. I warned her not to unplug it, but never mind. I think it's bright enough in here anyway, though, so we're alright. Oh, well, that is that done. The oven is preheated to 180. I've got loads of washing up to do. So that's going to take about half an hour to an hour. It really depends on your oven and the quantity and the tin. This particular quantity in this size tin, I find generally takes about half an hour. Keep your eye on it from 25 minutes onwards. You don't want the top to burn. It's quite hard to tell with a brownie because it's dark brown anyway, but you'll know. When it starts going black, you'll know. I would say probably not going to be ready any sooner than 25 to 30 minutes, but it could be done at that point. So from here, I'm going to pop that in the oven, and I will see you later on once it's taken out and cooled. Because when I take it out, I'm just going to be taking it out and putting it there. That's, you know, it's not that exciting. So I will see you again when it is cooled down and we slice into that bad boy, and we get the real situation going on and show you these brownies. I'll catch you later on. Now, I did say I wasn't going to do a shot of it coming out of the oven. I didn't do one of it coming out, of course, but this is the finished product. Now, it has raised a bit. I used plain flour, as you'll have seen earlier in the on the recipe on screen, but I didn't mention it earlier on, so I just thought I'd cover that for you briefly there. But yeah, that's come out rather nice. So it's probably going to need a few hours to cool. To be fair, I normally leave it till the following day, but I do want to record this video. I do want to edit this video and upload it for you as soon as possible, so we might just wait till a little bit later on. And welcome back. So I've now got the brownie out of the oven. As I said earlier, I would normally leave this till the day after. I can feel there's still a bit of warmth coming off it, but I did do the tent trick, put it in the freezer for a little bit. So we're now going to cut this bad boy open. So I'm not going to go right through the middle because it is still warm. But there you go, that's what we're talking about inside. Lovely and moist there. So as I say, it was 32 minutes to get to that point. I'm just going to cut off one of the middle pieces here. About 5 million calories a slice. So yeah, as you can see, they're lovely now. I mean, I could just ram that in as is for a lowly underhiver like me. That is a real bonus. But if you want to take it to the next level, I'll pop that there like that. You can kick this up a notch. I've got a few chopped strawberries. I'm going to have a blob of, I like custard cold, not everybody does. You could use cream, double cream, whipped cream, but we're going to have it like that. And then get a bit of milk chocolate, grate that on, half a square, and then we'll smash up a bit of Lotus biscuit for the fans, and there we go. That is absolutely cracking. I'm going to dive in now for a taste. Get a bit of everything on there, if I can. That is 10 out of 10. I'm going to come back to that later. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to everybody that subscribed. If you want to see more cooking stuff, let me know. I'm quite happy to do it, but this was a little reward for everybody that's got involved so far. And I will see you next time in the Underhive.